In the mystical land of Hyrule, a strange portal shimmered. It opened with a soft whoosh. Out stepped Satoru Gojo, the strongest jujutsu sorcerer. He looked around, a cool smirk on his face. The air was fresh, the trees were green. It was a peaceful day, but peace was not going to last very long. From behind a large oak tree, a hero emerged. He was not the Link that legend spoke of. This was Furry Link, a hero covered in soft golden fur. He had long, floppy ears and a bushy tail. In his paw, he held the legendary Master Sword, its blade glowing with an ethereal light. "You there! You do not belong in this world. Prepare for battle!" Furry Link shouted, his voice full of courage. Gojo simply chuckled, his blindfold hiding his eyes but not his amusement. "Oh, a talking animal with a shiny sword wants to fight me," he said, his tone light and playful. "This should be fun. I have a few minutes to spare before my next mission." Furry Link did not appreciate the mockery. He let out a mighty "Hiya!" and charged forward. He was a blur of golden fur and righteous fury. The Master Sword sliced through the air, aiming straight for Gojo. The blade hummed with ancient power, a weapon meant to vanquish great evil. It was fast, precise, and deadly. But Gojo was faster. He simply leaned back, and the sword missed him by a hair's breadth. Furry Link did not stop. He swung again and again, left, right, up, down. His attacks were a whirlwind of steel and fur. Each swing of the Master Sword was powerful enough to cut down a mighty moblin. He was a true master of the blade, his movements a dance of combat he had practiced for years. But Gojo was like a ghost. He dodged every single attack without even seeming to try. He swayed, he stepped, he ducked. It was as if the sword was passing through thin air. "Is that all you've got, puppy?" Gojo taunted, a wide grin spreading across his face. "My students hit harder than that, and they're just kids." Frustration grew on Furry Link's fuzzy face. He put all his strength into one final, powerful overhead slash. The Master Sword came down with incredible force, ready to split the sorcerer in two. Just then, another figure burst from the bushes. It was Yuji Itadori, Gojo's energetic student. "Gojo-sensei, I'm here to help!" he yelled. Seeing the attack, Yuji didn't hesitate. He channeled his cursed energy into his fist and unleashed a devastating divergent fist. The attack slammed right into Furry Link's side. The furry hero cried out in pain, the force of the blow sending him flying. He crashed into a tree with a loud thud, and the Master Sword clattered to the ground. Furry Link lay on the ground, groaning. Yuji's punch was incredibly powerful. A large, ugly bruise was already forming on his furry side. He felt weak, his vision blurry. "Good job, Yuji," Gojo said, giving his student a thumbs up. A little rough but effective. But the hero of Hyrule was not defeated yet. With a shaky paw, Furry Link reached into his pouch. He pulled out a small bottle filled with a sparkling red liquid. It was a classic health potion, brewed by the finest witches in the Kokiri forest. He quickly uncorked it and drank the entire thing in one gulp. A warm, magical energy flowed through his body. Instantly, the pain vanished. The bruise faded away as if it had never been there. Furry Link jumped back to his feet, his eyes burning with renewed determination. He felt stronger than ever before. He grabbed the Master Sword, its hilt feeling perfect in his paw. "You will not defeat the hero of time," he declared with a heroic pose. He was ready for round two. Gojo and Yuji watched in surprise. "Whoa, he just healed himself completely," Yuji said, amazed. Gojo just laughed. "This keeps getting more and more interesting," he said, stretching his arms. "All right, little furball. Let's see what else you can do." Furry Link knew a direct attack was useless against Gojo's speed. He needed a new strategy. He looked at Yuji, then back at Gojo. An idea sparked in his clever, furry mind. He faked a charge towards Yuji, who braced for impact. But at the last second, Link used his famous spin attack, deflecting off a nearby rock. He launched himself through the air, not at Yuji, but straight at Gojo. The sorcerer was caught by surprise for a fraction of a second. It was all the time Furry Link needed. With a triumphant cry, he plunged the Master Sword forward. This time, the blade found its mark. It stabbed right through Gojo's stylish jacket and into his shoulder. Gojo gasped, his confident smile finally fading. He stumbled backward, clutching his wounded shoulder. The Master Sword, a blade that repels evil, seemed to disrupt his cursed energy. "Ow, ow, ow," Gojo mumbled, falling to his knees. The sky, it's made of purple spaghetti, and the birds are singing my grocery list. He was speaking complete nonsense. Yuji rushed to his side, worried. Sensei, are you okay? But Gojo's eyes were unfocused. He raised a hand, gathering a massive amount of cursed energy. A terrifying ball of purple light formed in his palm. Hollow purple, he yelled, firing the devastating attack. It shot past Furry Link, who dodged just in time, but the attack flew straight into a very surprised Yuji, who vanished in a flash of purple energy. Silence fell over the battlefield. Gojo stared blankly at the spot where his student had just been. Furry Link stared too, his floppy ears drooping. Just then, another man appeared from the shadows. It was Toji Fushiguro, a legendary sorcerer killer. He carried a large arsenal of cursed tools on his back. He looked at the scene, saw Gojo on the ground talking to a butterfly, and saw the smoking crater where Yuji used to be. I came here for a good fight, Toji said with a deep sigh of disappointment. But it looks like the party's over. He shrugged, turned around and walked away, vanishing back into the shadows as mysteriously as he had arrived. Suddenly the ground began to tremble violently. The entire world seemed to shake. Huge cracks appeared in the earth, spreading like spiderwebs. With a deafening roar, the very land they were standing on broke apart. Chunks of Hyrule, complete with trees, rocks and grass, floated up into the sky. They became a series of floating islands, drifting gently in the afternoon breeze. Furry Link found himself on one small island, while Gojo, who was now trying to teach a squirrel the Macarena, was on another island a short distance away. The battle had just entered a very strange new phase. The rules of engagement had literally been torn apart. Furry Link looked across the gap at his opponent. Gojo had stopped dancing and was now staring back, a strange new focus in his eyes. The nonsense seemed to have passed. They both reached into their pockets simultaneously. It was an unspoken agreement, a universal law of epic battles that must be obeyed. Furry Link pulled out a red and white ball. Gojo pulled out a similar one. They were Pokeballs. This was no longer just a sword fight. This was a battle of monsters, a contest of champions. With determined looks on their faces, they both reared back their arms, ready to unleash their chosen partners into this bizarre floating arena. Go! They both shouted at the same time. They threw their Pokeballs into the space between the islands. Furry Link's ball opened to reveal a legendary creature of immense power, a giant, furious-looking red bird clearly from some angry game. It screeched, its eyes glowing with rage. Gojo's ball opened, and out popped a creature named Nobalda. Nobalda was a strange, wobbly thing that looked a bit like a confused pile of laundry. The red, angry bird did not hesitate. It shot across the sky like a feathered cannonball and slammed directly into Nobalda. There was a comical poof sound, and Nobalda was sent flying into the horizon, defeated in a single decisive hit. Gojo recalled his defeated Nobalda, looking slightly annoyed. Well, that was anticlimactic, he muttered. Just as he said that, a new figure descended from the heavens. He had spiky black hair and wore a bright orange guy. It was Goku, the legendary Super Saiyan from another universe entirely. Hey, I sensed a strong power level over here. Looks like you could use some help, Goku said with a cheerful grin. He landed next to Gojo, who just shrugged. Sure, why not? The more the merrier, Gojo replied, his energy seemingly restored. Furry Link watched them, unafraid. He was the hero of Hyrule, and he would not back down from two opponents. Furry Link took a deep breath and began to twerk. But this was no ordinary twerk. It was a magical twerk. Sparkles and rainbow-colored energy radiated from him with every movement. The air crackled with silly, chaotic power. He then pulled out another potion, this one a shimmering golden color. He chugged it down and let out a mighty burp that sounded like a foghorn. 7. 42. The square root of pineapple, he shouted, pointing the Master Sword at Gojo. The strange combination of magic, potions and nonsensical numbers was too much for the universe to handle. A swirling black hole suddenly opened right beneath Gojo's feet. Whoops, was all Gojo could say before he fell in and disappeared. Goku stared at the spot where Gojo had vanished, then at the magically twerking furry hero. Wow, you're really strong, Goku admitted. But now it's my turn. His hair flashed gold as he transformed into a Super Saiyan. The floating islands shook from his power. He prepared to launch a Kamehameha wave. the ultimate energy attack. But then he stopped. He looked at furry Link, who was still twerking, and a strange new idea entered his head. Instead of attacking, Goku suddenly started doing a popular Fortnite dance. He flossed, he did the orange justice, he took the L. The sheer cringe energy was too much for his powerful body to contain. He began to glow ominously, and then, with a final dramatic default dance move, he exploded in a shower of golden sparkles. The battle was over. Furry Link stood alone, the victor. He stopped his magical twerking and did a little victory jig. Suddenly, a green pipe appeared on his floating island. A man in red overalls and a mustache popped out. It was Mario. Wahoo! That was some good fighting, Mario exclaimed. He started twerking alongside Furry Link, a perfect celebration for a perfectly ridiculous battle. After a moment, they stopped and gave each other a high five. The creator of both their worlds, Shigeru Miyamoto, appeared for a brief moment, gave a knowing nod, and vanished. Hyrule was safe, and a new bizarre legend was born.